11th year out of Illinois, back deep. The rookie Jorick Calvin out of Troy averages 22.7 yards a kickoff return. Is long this season, 41 yards. Mario Williams and the defense of the Texans will be on the field first. As the calendar turns to December, the games with added importance. With 5 to go, and we're underway on Thursday Night Football. Calvin from the yard deep. To the outside, flag on the play. Calvin's going to take it all the way, but there's a flag back at the 21. 102 yards, but before the dance, we'll check the flag.
Yep.
You're going to watch him right, number 82, right there on the 20-yard line, right here. See that? He's got him locked in tight, and the official are right on. You can see it perfectly, and so does the referee, and the flag comes right out.
Eugene Wilson and Molden's jersey was being held as Wilson came up in pursuit, and Antoine Molden was held. So take the touchdown off the board, Michael Vick. At quarterback, you saw his numbers. He's been spectacular. Vick with time, middle of the field, Deshaun Jackson out to the 42-yard line. Gain of 30.
Well, what you've seen from the Philadelphia Eagles is what they wanted to do is exploit this Houston Texans secondary that is so vulnerable. That's Glover Quinton on the outside, just playing zone, and you allowed Deshaun Jackson to just float into the middle.
Michael Vick did take a hit on the first snap from Antonio Smith, but it was late, and Deshaun Jackson, Mr. over 30 yards with a 30-yard reception. Vick with 13 touchdowns, just one pick that came last week. Vick sidelines it to the right to Jason Avant, who makes the catch, his 42nd of the year. We'll take a look at the offense of the Philadelphia Eagles. Winston Justice starts at the right tackle spot. One of the key components, Jason Peters, the left tackle, has played better over the second part of the season. LaShawn McCoy with 6 rushing touchdowns on the season, and the explosiveness of Jeremy Maclin and Deshaun Jackson at the wide receiver spots.
They're going to have 12 guys in the field, and they're going to get called for it. In the huddle, 12 men.
Chris?
Walt Anderson is our referee this evening.
There is no foul for 12 in a huddle. There are 11 players. Still second down.
There you go. There's only 11.
Forget the flag.
See what happens? See what happens when a cold day. Cover up your fingers.
Well, see, he had his shoes off. I knew it was more than 10.
Right, yeah, you had to know that.
Andy Reid, you saw him, 12th year as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, 115 wins in the regular season. Second and 6 from the Philadelphia 46. Vick, screen to McCoy. LaShawn McCoy inside the 40 to the 38. It's a gain of 16.
The Philadelphia Eagles are one of the best screen teams in all of football. And they've been that way for a long, long time. For the last 12 years, this offense has been this way. Why are they good? They have great timing. Nice job right here by the quarterback. Let him draw in on him, and then he dumps it off. McCoy does the rest.
And McCoy, the leading receiver as far as receptions for Philadelphia. That was his 60th catch of the year. So they'll check it down to the back. They're going to give it off to Chad Hall. First-year player out of Air Force. Nothing doing, gain of maybe a half yard. We take a look at the Houston Texans defense. The strength resides in their front four. Mario Williams with 8.5 sacks. Linebacking core, Brian Cushing missed the first 4 games due to suspension. He's back on the outside. D'Amico Ryans out for the season. The secondary, well, they've had a lot of problems this year with teams passing the ball against them. They're young on the corners and inexperienced. Although last week, Glover Quinn had 3 interceptions against Tennessee. And a flag flies as the Eagles come to the line. And Walt's been busy.
Ball start, number 74, offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Right tackle Winston Justice called for the penalty.
I really like the way Marty Morningwig, the offensive coordinator, has started this game calling plays. First one was a drop back deep down the middle. Then you move Michael Vick. Then you run a screen. What they're doing is they're forcing the Texans front four to deal with a lot of movement, not just necessarily out of Michael Vick.
And he wants to send a message to his team like, let's get out and strike quick and attack early. He says it gets the guys fired up. Philadelphia leads the NFL in first quarter points with 89. Vick and Macklin lost his feet after a short game. Well, you look at the quick strike offense of this Philadelphia team. They already have one play tonight of over 30 yards. In the touchdown category, 13 of their touchdowns have come over 30 yards, 11 in the passing game.
Well, one of the things that has to happen for the Philadelphia Eagles is they have to see how each team plays Michael Vick, and it's different every week. And so offensive coordinator Marty Morningwig has to get a feel for how each defense plays him, and then he adjusts accordingly.
3rd and 9 from the 37. Vick, time, Selleck, first down, bounces off a tackle and takes it to the 16. It's a gain of 20 for Brent Selleck.
There was a time when the book on Michael Vick was keep him in the pocket and he won't be able to get anything done down the field. He feels the rush, he sees the rush. That isn't the case anymore. Does a real nice job of staying focused on the defense, where he wants to put the football, and he's given his receivers a chance to run with it.
Oh, and by the way, he's getting fantastic protection. And when he has that protection, he can settle himself down and see the field.
Vick 5 for 5 on this drive with 5 different receivers. There's the escapability and then dragged down at the 14-yard line by Damian Lewis after a gain of 3.
Second down.
The Houston Texans know that they have to protect their secondary. And so ideally, what they'd like to be able to do is just rush with their front four. The strength of this front four rests on the shoulders of 2 players, Amobi Okoye and also Mario Williams on the outside. When those 2 guys can get it cranked up, their front four is much better.
But here in the red zone is where the speed of the Philadelphia Eagles is negated.
And Okoye and Williams not on the field right now. Vick again. Macklin grabbed around the ankles by Jason Allen, but it's a first down, gain of 11, first and goal Philadelphia. And Macklin getting into it a little bit with Kevin Bentley, the middle linebacker of the Texans.
As open as the receivers have been for Michael Vick, it's almost like 7-on-7. Now what that simply is you go out in practice and there's no rush whatsoever and you just work against linebackers and defensive backs. And that's exactly what it looks like so far for the Eagles.
Now the Houston Texans allowing only 1 opposing touchdown on the opening drive last 22. Vick and the Eagles threatening. He was looking for Avant, but he felt pressure and had to throw it away.
Tough to throw down here in a compressed field. But the Eagles have certainly the capability to use, and how do I say this? See, they can use their speed. I think the Eagles have the best young skill set in the National Football League. The fastest for sure, and the way to use that speed now in a compressed field is to use the crossing routes and use that speed across the field.
They have Chad Hall in the Wildcat with Vick split out to the bottom of your screen. Hall's going to run it, and he gets stood up and turned back at the 1. Chad Hall, the first-year player out of Air Force, getting an opportunity to play here for the Eagles.
They do a good job inside of trying to double team, but you let the linebacker be free right in that hole. When the linebacker comes to fill, Chad Hall is not going to run over anybody, Matt.
No, but he's going to find a little crack. He's kind of Danny Woodhead-esque. He's got really good run instincts. They're very pleased with him.
3rd and goal from the 1. Vick in space. McCoy the touchdown. And Michael Vick and the Eagles made it look easy.
That was a clinic. That was an offensive clinic. Drop back passes, sprint out passes. runs, everything you needed to do. They set the post inside. LaShawn McCoy just sneaks out of the backfield. Pollard couldn't stay with him.
Nice pick by
Absolutely.
Jason Avant.
Little pick play right at the goal line.
Of course, they're not allowed, so they didn't do that.
No, it was just he got in the way kind of thing.
14th touchdown pass for Vick. David Akers knocks the extra point through, and Michael Vick, like a maestro, orchestrating the Eagles offense. Opening drive, touchdown to Shady McCoy. Eagles in front, 7-0.
Airlines. Find out fares online only at southwest.com. And by Head & Shoulders. Respect the scalp. Get the hair.
Statue of William Penn atop the tower of City Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Eagles take the opening drive. 88 yards in 11 plays, 7:04 on the clock. Vick to McCoy with a 1-yard touchdown pass. Well, David Akers kicked that extra point, playing in his 184th game for the Eagles, a franchise record. He had shared the mark with Brian Dawkins, the longtime safety. Short kick by Akers. Slayton from the 15. Steve Slayton hit by Moses Boku at the 30 and then driven back at the 31-yard line after a 16-yard return. Well, Michael Vick put a touchdown on the board. Now the Houston Texans get their offense on the field, trying to match scores in Philadelphia. Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Matt Schaub, the quarterback of the Houston Texans, grew up in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Went to East High School. Has 29 tickets out with family and friends. He said, I want to get a win, a cheesesteak, and get out of here. Well, he's down 7-0 to start. Arian Foster drops the screen. As we take a look at the starting lineups for the Houston Texans, Eric Winston makes his 67th consecutive start tonight. Chris Myers, his 59th start at center. Wayne Brown, the left tackle. Arian Foster leads the NFL in rushing with 12 rushing touchdowns. Andre Johnson, 65 catches and 5 touchdowns on the season. Second and 10 from the Houston 31. Andre Johnson with some space out across the 35 and knocked out at the 39, and a flag comes in late after a gain of 7, maybe a face mask on Dimitri Patterson.
Bob, I don't think there's a maybe at all. There's
Personal foul, face mask, number 23, defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
he's, Dimitri's 5'10", 200. Andre Johnson's a lot bigger, a lot taller, so he had to reach up and go after it.
But my maybe wasn't that bad. He didn't exactly rip it.
Well, remember when they changed the rules just a couple years ago, anytime they get up to the face.
It's a penalty. Yeah,
They're
there's
gonna
no more
do it.
5 15-yarder.
Which is great.
Johnson shaken up out for this play, and a 1st and 10 in Eagles territory. Jacoby Jones in motion. Schaub to throw. Vontae Leach, the fullback, inside the Eagle 30. A tackle from beyond after a gain of 21. Ernie Sims on the tackle.
The Houston Texans give you a lot of different direction. They'll run Arian Foster to the right here. They run him out to the right, and then Leach is going to leak back over there. Everybody's flowing to the right. Fullback does a real nice job. You see absolutely no one out in front of him, and he winds up with the big game.
Leach's longest catch of the season. Leach and Foster in an eye, and a 1st and 10. And movement on the line for Houston.
False start, number 76, offense, 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Wayne Brown called for the penalty. We take a look at the Philadelphia Eagles defense. The rookie Brandon Graham gets the start for the injured Juquay Parker. Trent Cole with 9 sacks on the season. Middle linebacker Stuart Bradley very comfortable in this defense. Now the key thing is Rogelio Hanson starting for Asante Samuel, who leads the NFL with 7 interceptions. Samuel with a knee injury. Schaub to Foster, cut down by Patterson. Loss of 1.
One of the things that this Philadelphia Eagles defense knows is they don't have Asante Samuel, and so they're going to have to rally. And there's a number of ways that they can attack it. And the one way that they will be comfortable with is protecting their corners in zone coverage. And if you're going to play zone, you have to be more aggressive coming up and making the tackles like you saw right there.
And you see defensive coordinator Sean McDermott explaining the challenges of dealing with life without Samuel. Foster, short gain on the play. Stuart Bradley on the tackle. Andre Johnson was in for that last play. Gain of 3. You take a look at the triple threat. Matt Schaub, 15 touchdown passes. Andre Johnson, physical, strong receiver. And Arian Foster leads the league in rushing and rushing touchdowns in his second year out of Tennessee.
And out of that triple threat, what head coach Gary Kubiak spoke of was balance. They need to have balance. They want to keep that Philadelphia Eagle offense off the field. Their balance comes with Arian Foster.
3rd and 14 for Schaub. Protection breaks down. Schaub to the sideline, incomplete. Joel Dreesen, the tight end, could not reel it in, but great coverage downfield by Philadelphia. Trevor Law's got pressure.
Bob, that's an excellent job by that secondary that's sort of put together a little bit. Not a whole lot of playing time. You got Nate Allen starting as a rookie at the safety position. Of course, Joselio Hansen on the outside, making a difference. Exactly what they want to do without Asante Samuel. They said that, you know, we're not quite as confident without the guy that has 7 interceptions back there, but they did a real nice job of recovering on that play.
Neil Rackers on this natural grass surface from 48 yards. It's lined up. Will it get there? Yes, it does. So Rackers knocks it in from 48 yards out. Each team has scored on their opening possession. The Eagles a touchdown, Houston a field goal. Heats up next week, Thursday Night Football. Peyton Manning leads the Colts against Chris Johnson and the Titans. Your weekend starts here. Thursday Night Football, Colts-Titans next Thursday, 8 Eastern, live on NFL Network. Pivotal game. Indianapolis hosts Dallas this week. Tennessee has a huge game against Jacksonville on Sunday. Houston playing tonight, just a game off. And let's face it, guys, normally at this point of the year, Indianapolis is 11-0, 10-1.
And Houston's not a thought really in the playoff picture.
But they are, but need a win tonight. Jorrick Calvin, who had a 102-yard return wiped off the board, runs out of a tackle at the 35 and takes it to the 39-yard line. 32-yard return. Vic was flawless on the first drive. See if he can do it again.
Is brought to you by Verizon 4G LTE. Rule the air on the most advanced 4G network in the world. And by Mercedes-Benz. Engineering without compromise. Performance without sacrifice.
Look at the Liberty Bell, located in Independence National Historical Park. Originally cast in London, it cracked soon after arriving in Philadelphia, and at last was rung on George Washington's birthday in 1846, part of the great history in this great city of Philadelphia.
Matt, what was it like when they rang it?
It wasn't as loud as I thought it would be. You know, George, I like to call him George. George was an excellent linebacker.
Thought so.
Played for a long time.
Looked like one.
Great start from Michael Vick. Nice run. LaShawn McCoy takes it out to the 40. Bernard Pollard on the tackle after a gain of 12.
That was all on Mario Williams. He tries to collapse it down on Brent Selleck, and he just seals him inside, and he turns outside. Watch the right side of your screen. You see, he just comes on down inside. Selleck just takes him where he wants to go.
That's great vision right there by McCoy. McCoy, one of the best cutback runners in the National Football League.
That's lousy defensive end play.
Or that.
That too.
Nickel work out of the shotgun. McCoy lost it and then fell on it for a loss of a half yard. Philadelphia has been so good, guys. One of the reasons why they've had so much success this year is Andy Reid and the turnovers. They've only turned it over 12 times as a team. They protect the ball.
Yeah, but this, to me, I don't like this play from Michael Vick. I don't see him as an option quarterback like, say, a Vince Young is. He's better off doing the things he does. Get the ball away. It's cold. That's his 5th fumble. 4 in the Chicago game, and now you have 1 right here in the last 2 games. Actually, a game and a half a quarter.
2nd and 10. Vick turns the corner and races out of bounds at the 47-yard line. gain of 7.
This is what Deion Sanders was speaking of in our pregame show. And yes, Michael Vick is a better player. He's more accurate, his timing is better, his mechanics are better. He looks down the field and he's trying to make a play with his eyes. However, if it's not there, his feet will get him out of trouble. It has since the time he got there. He's a more patient quarterback now.
So the Eagles have a manageable 3rd and 4. Own 46. Vick with time. Jackson a first down and more. Pushed out at the 32. Bryce McCain missed the tackle. Gain of 21 for Deshaun Jackson, who's in the groove.
He is. He's important to this offense because his quickness and his speed are so difficult to defend. There's no room to this sideline for him to be able to make the roll, but yet he does.
Well, and it's not going to happen unless he gets some nasty play out of Jason Peters, their left offensive tackle. The Philadelphia Eagles offensive line right now is dominating the front of Houston.
McCoy made Cushing miss once, and then Cushing goes back and gets him the second time. Gain of 2 on the play. You know, Brian Cushing of Houston, with the injury to D'Amico Ryans, they tried him at middle linebacker. When we visited with him yesterday, they got him back on the outside. Says just much more comfortable on the outside than having to play the middle.
I think playing the middle for any linebacker, and Matt, you played it, it's such a different view of what you're looking at. Plus, you've got people coming at you from so many different directions.
And around, Jackson takes it to the 30-yard line. Cushing chased him. No gain on the play. Pollard at least contained. Couldn't get him down, though.
Well, he made the play because had Pollard not been there and forced him deeper and wider, Deshaun Jackson, with his speed, would have made a big play. Pollard drops down, and now he's going to force him with depth and then width. And because of that, here comes the posse.
Deshaun Jackson had to run about 17 yards to have a gain of 0. Third and 8. A lot of room for Vick. First down to the 20. Gain of 10.
I don't mean to laugh, but I love to watch Michael Vick because it's almost you can sense what's going on in his head. Right now he's looking down the field. He realizes there's plenty of room up front. Steps up, still looking patient. Now when he starts to run, it's like, should I dive? Right here now, maybe I'll dive. No, wait a second, I'll go over here. Now I'll dive.
The good news, Joe, for all this is defensively, Houston has taken away some of those throws down the field, but at the expense of a rush. And when you drop everybody back, you give all that room for Vick to be able to take care of it.
Vick said, I don't like sliding. Vick to the end zone, knocked away by Pollard as he was looking for Selleck.
And they finally got a hit on Vick. We saw it on the first throw, and they got one here. Selleck's down the middle, and the protection is not bad initially, allows him to get the ball off. Pollard undercut it, but not before there was a hit on Vick inside to maybe force this throw.
Last week, Vick made an incredible throw in Chicago through 4 defenders to get it to Selleck for a touchdown. This week, Pollard knocked it away. LaShawn McCoy, another first down. They're just gashing Houston inside, gain of 13.
In his second year, LaShawn McCoy has turned into not only the best cutback runner, but one of the best speed backs in the National Football League.
Well, the Philadelphia Eagles went on an 88-yard drive to open the game with a touchdown pass to Shady McCoy on their second possession. Michael Vick has the Eagles driving again, up 7-3. Philadelphia, we get set for the start of the second quarter. The Eagles lead the Texans 7-3, and Philadelphia driving again. Michael Vick in the first quarter this season A quarterback rating of 141. That's the highest of any quarterback in any quarter since 2005. And that's one of the reasons why, counting tonight, they have 96 first quarter points to lead the NFL. And when they get out on top of you and get going fast, it's tough to come back against this Eagles team. Philadelphia had the ball for 11:59 time of possession in the first. First and goals, we start the second. McCoy shoved out by Allen at the 5. You know, one of the things that's interesting too about Michael Vick is just his total command of the way things are unfolding and all the extra work that he puts in before and after practice, and the amount of work that he gets in with his teammates, Joe. He's really become studious about his work.
Nobody ever questioned his ability. They only questioned his commitment, and now he has one.
And his work ethic, and he has one.
Second and goal. McCoy has his second touchdown. One in the air and this one on the ground. 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns for the Eagles.
I said it earlier, and I'll repeat myself. The Philadelphia Eagles offensive line is dominating the defensive front of Houston. Look at that hole. Right through. Nicely done by McGlynn to come off, get to second level, gets a block inside on Benton, and then it's 6 points.
How about Max Gene Gillis from his right guard spot? He helped open up that hole, and McCoy with the slam dunk touchdown. Another 11-play drive. Akers' extra point is good. Philadelphia's had the ball twice. Twice they've scored touchdowns. Drives engineered by Michael Vick. No matter where you are this holiday season, you can stay in the game with NFL's new mobile app. Search NFL Mobile on NFL.com. Philadelphia's had the ball twice. 2 long touchdown drives, and the Eagles lead the Texans 14-3.
In a conversation we had with Matt Schaub last night, he said, we need to score touchdowns. The Houston Texans cannot trade 3s for 7s against the Eagles. This is, talk about important drives. When it looks like you're not going to get the ball a whole lot, every one of them is significant.
Slayton on the return off the kick from Akers. Slayton now to the 21-yard line, 21-yard return. Well, Matt Schaub and the Houston Texans need to get the offense going because Mike Vick is rolling for Philadelphia.
You want to be? Find your Santa at Sears.com/Santa. And by Phillips Norelco, the #1 electric razor.
Back in Philadelphia, the Eagles lead the Texans 14-3. And, you know, for Houston, they need to start matching Philadelphia with touchdowns. This is a 5-6 team that has an opportunity in a division where the leaders are only 6-5, but they've got to start winning games, and they need to move the football. Arian Foster moves it out to the 30 and picks up 9 on first down. Arian Foster in his second year out of Tennessee. Here's a guy that had a really good part of his career at Tennessee in the early part of his career, but then wasn't even drafted in last year's draft. He said there were a lot of rumors that I wasn't a worker. I didn't listen to the coaches. Got cut in camp, wound up on the practice squad for Houston last year. Got called up and made the most of his opportunity. Leads the NFL in rushing. On a 2nd and 1, he's got a first down out to the 32-yard line, gain of 3, and he currently sits atop the National Football League in rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and yards from scrimmage. You know, at the end of last season, he got a note from Gary Kubiak that said, the biggest jump is year 1 to year 2. We're going to draft a running back, and Foster went right to work. And he said, I got a lot of respect for Coach Kubiak. He coached my favorite player of all time, Terrell Davis. And he's won Super Bowl. Schaub under pressure to the sideline of Johnson, incomplete.
I'm going to show you how smart Andre Johnson was on that particular play. He got pushed out of bounds a little bit. He comes back into the field, and what he does is instead of trying to touch the ball, he lets it go. And that's just the intelligence of a player understanding the rules and not trying in any way to hurt his football team.
I like right now is Sean McDermott, the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's mixing his coverages up really well.
Schaub, middle of the field. Dreesen can't hold it. Incomplete.
They started the drive. He went in a cover 2, which is both safeties deep covering half the field. That takes away from your run game, and so Houston ran at it. Then he came back in the second series and went with a 3, which brought your safety down to give run support. Then he mixed in 2-man coverages back to back. So without Asante Samuel, he's had to mix his coverages and put his players in the best possible positions based on field position and down and distance.
Houston's only other third down was a 3rd and 14. Eagles show blitz. Schaub had his arm hit, and that's incomplete. Quentin Michael came on the safety blitz and forced the incompletion.
Arian Foster got caught in a quandary. There were too many people coming from the right side, and he had no chance to be able to make a play. You see the arm start to go forward. It's a good call by Walt Anderson.
Well done by Michael, who lined up in the slot and then came on the blitz. It's incumbent upon Schaub to see that quicker and get the ball out.
15-year pro Matt Turk in the punt. He's good at getting him away, but he didn't kick it deep. Favorable roll for Houston inside the 35 and down to about the 32. 35-yard punt. Dialing up the blitz in Philadelphia. The Eagles in front, 14-3 with the ball. We're away at commercial. Andre Johnson being taken to the Houston Texans locker room. He's been battling ankle issues all year long. On that end-around run when he was face masked, he came up hobbling, and they'll check on Johnson. That's horrible news for Houston right now. Right now they need some defense. The Eagles have scored touchdowns on their first 2 possessions, up 14-3. Vick with time. Macklin in Houston territory for another big game.
Marty Morningwig, the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, he believes in aggressive play, and he believes that his players feed off it. And so early in games, particularly in first drives, he loves to go down and take a shot at the defense to kind of put a stake in their heart.
34-yard catch for Macklin. Vick 10 of 12, 147 yards. Philadelphia is making it look easy. As Vick takes the snap. The whistle.
This is the first charge timeout, Philadelphia.
The Eagles take the timeout.
30-second timeout.
12:16 to go here in the first half. Andy Reid talking it over with the officials. Joe, let's talk about Michael Vick and the difference in him as a quarterback from a technique standpoint.
It's somewhat simple if you just take a look at him work in the pocket. When he was in Atlanta, the pocket is very comfortable. He has plenty of time to look down the field. He could step up, climb the pocket a little bit. Instead, he instantly flushes out and creates a problem for himself. Same type of a situation here in Philadelphia. Now he has a chance to run. He doesn't, just steps up, feels the pressure coming in his face, gets the completion out to Deshaun Jackson. He hangs in the pocket very, very well, and he's willing to take the shot. What he's doing now is he's focusing more down the field like a quarterback would versus an athlete that's at the quarterback position and wants to take off and run. Look at the numbers inside the pocket and outside the pocket. You just know he's going to be a threat anyway.
Especially tonight against this Houston defense that's not putting up any resistance in a pivotal game for them. Vick, this time he's going to get hit by Bernard Pollard and loses 1 on the play.
And that's the decision that Frank Bush, the defensive coordinator of the Texans, has to make a decision on. Do you bring 5 and try and contain Mike Vick, get the ball out of his hands, and don't let the deep crossing routes develop? Force him to get it out of his hands quicker.
You know, a week ago when they played the Chicago Bears, Rod Marinelli, the defensive coordinator for the Bears, had great success with just rushing 4. It's hard to replicate because not a lot of people have what the Bears have
You don't have
up
those
front.
wide open at the 20-yard line is Macklin again. It's a gain of 12.
This is again on the offensive line. Lots of time for Mike Vick to be able to survey the field. He can go through his progressions. He can afford to be patient. But this group right here is playing very, very well tonight. Jason Peters, the left tackle, number 71. McGlynn inside, 77. Winston Justice on the outside. All playing well, all giving time. Like you said, Joe, it's just be patient, pick and throw.
Jerome Harrison takes the handoff, and he's shoved back and out of bounds at the 25 as Pollard makes another tackle on the play. It's a loss of 1. We want to welcome those of you joining us from NFL.com, live online experience. Welcome to Thursday Night Football.
We've been mentioning Bernard Pollard's name quite a bit, and there's a reason why. Down inside, he's like an extra linebacker. He's a safety, but they drop him down, and he's very good, has good run instincts, very good down around the line of scrimmage. Not as good in space, and so Frank Bush, their defensive coordinator, uses them smartly and likes to bring them down, likes to blitz them, but keep them near the line of scrimmage.
On the second-round pick of the Chiefs. Macklin dropped it. As the blocking was setting up, Michael Vick with a little smile. Vick has been almost perfect here tonight. 11 of 14 for 159 yards. You know, I talked with Michael Vick's former coach in Atlanta earlier today, Dan Reeves, who keeps in contact. He and Michael text back and forth each week. And he said, you know, the kid got a big heart, wants to learn, just happy to see with the way he's taken Andy Reid, and he couldn't have picked a better team to go to than Andy Reid and the Philadelphia Eagles, because remember last year they had McNabb on the team and he got to learn behind a real pro.
Eagles have to call another timeout because they have a formation problem.
So with 10:26 to go in the first half, Philadelphia has scored touchdowns on their first 2 possessions, threatening for more.
By GMC. Enter the Never Say Never sweepstakes for a chance to win a GMC Sierra Denali at gmc.com/NFL. And by Courtyard, it's a new stay.
Oh, the sandwiches at Tommy DeNick's. Roast beef with pork in Reading Terminal Market. Pork sandwich, provolone, little broccoli di rapa. Millen had about 8 of them yesterday.
Oh man, they are awesome.
Matt says,
Hot
come on.
peppers.
He says, come on with me to lunch. By the time I get there, they're all gone.
Eagles have scored touchdowns in their first 2 drives. Can Houston at least limit them to a field goal attempt here? Down 14-3. 3rd and 11. Vick under pressure. Vick inside the 20 to the 18-yard line as he made Mario Williams miss and Antonio Smith.
But that time, Mario Williams was not going to be denied. He comes around hard on the outside and forces Michael Vick to pull it down. Deshaun Jackson wants it right off the line of scrimmage. He can't believe it. Michael.
Vick was a little slow getting up, but Antonio Smith got away with a face mask. So the 12th-year pro David Akers aimed to try a field goal of 36 yards. Akers slips it inside the right upright and knocks it through to widen the lead to 17-3. So Philadelphia's had the ball on 3 possessions, and they've scored on all 3 possessions. So they've won the time of possession. They're moving the ball down the field and just sort of executing the way they have throughout most of the season. You take a look at the opening drive, it's 88 yards. Vick, first pass play, 30 yards to Deshaun Jackson. They hit a big 3rd and 9 to Selleck. McCoy with the 1-yard touchdown catch. Then McCoy with a 1-yard touchdown run. And then David Akers caps off the last drive with a 36-yard field goal. So I'll tell you what, guys, it's Michael Vick picked up where he's left off, you know, as far as playing good football. He played well last week.
Yeah, on that particular play, though, is you see a little bit of the inexperience and the youthfulness of Michael Vick in this offense. He has Deshaun Jackson wide open going down the sidelines. He hasn't quite seen everything yet. He's done a lot of good things, but there's some things that he's going to continue to get better at.
Of course, you keep talking about the quarterback. For me,
of course,
this offensive line right now is playing lights out. They're giving him time. They're opening holes in the running game. They've allowed him to be patient and find most of those throws.
Guys, what about Houston? This is a team at 5-6 that's still very much in the race in the AFC South as Akers kicks off, but so far it's been sort of a no-show early. They need to get something going as Slayton takes a knee for a touchback with 9:35 to go in the first half. Well, Sunday on NFL Game Day morning, Michael Irvin sits down with two stars of the NFC's top team, the Atlanta Falcons, Matt Ryan and Roddy White. Watch NFL Game Day morning Sunday, 9 Eastern, only on NFL Network. And a huge game coming up for Atlanta this week at Tampa, big NFC South showdown.
And a huge drive right here for Houston. They need to get something going and get some points out of this drive.
And they're going to have to do it without Andre Johnson.
Arian Foster, tackled by Cole, gain of barely 1.
So, Asante Samuel not there. And admittedly, Gary Kubiak, you can see Vic is taking a couple of snaps right there. But Gary Kubiak, wow, only 41 yards, said they needed balance. They have not had balance. And they said this Eagle defense looks different without Asante Samuel. Well, now the Houston offense looks different without Andre Johnson.
Arian Foster for 1. Ernie Sims on the tackle. Guys, even though they're down 17-3, I mean, they've got to get their running game going, especially with Andre Johnson out, to try to create that balance.
You know, Andre Johnson has been able to pick his moments, and people fear him a lot. But Jacoby Jones, number 12, who's in there, and also Kevin Walter, they're pretty good receivers. I mean, between the two of them, they have 58 catches. So it's not like Andre Johnson was the only guy on the football field, but they're going to have to find ways to get him open and get him the football.
Walter in motion on a 3rd and 8. Cole jumped. Schaub with a free play. Walter a first down out to the 36-yard line. Gain of 14. Will check the flags. This is one you expect Houston to decline. Penalty against Philadelphia.
Offsides, number 58, defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
That was one of the things when we talked to Trent Cole yesterday. Oh, there comes Andre Johnson. Wasn't gone very long. Went to the pits for a little tire repair. He's back out. But Trent Cole gets off the ball so quick, sometimes he does that, jumps off sides.
Foster with some room, then met at the 41-yard line by Stuart Bradley and squared him up and stopped him after 5.
Well, he had to, because I think they caught them in a blitz, okay? And so you can see Trent Cole on the ground because he was on his way out. And so here comes Stuart Bradley inside out. All 260 pounds of him. That's big man on big man.
Textbook tackle, and boy, you talk about a running back running with his pads up. Foster was straight up on that one. Foster again has a first down to the 47-yard line. You know, one of the things that was interesting when we were talking with Foster yesterday about his experience as Johnson comes back into the ball game. When Foster was on the practice squad last year, he had no idea that he could get called up to the active roster. He was watching a primetime game on a Sunday or Monday night, and he heard that a guy had gotten called up from the practice squad. He said, well, wait a second, they could do that? That could be me. And he wound up finishing the season with 257 yards. Schaub, Johnson, wide open. Pushed out at the 10 by Nate Allen.
That's what happens when you have that ability with a double move. Andre Johnson right back on the field, goes down, little quick out hesitation, gets everybody bit. If Matt Schaub was able to lead him up the field, this would have been 6. Instead, he winds up with just a big completion.
42-yard gain.
That thing you see on the side, and that's Dimitri Patterson's jockstrap is just laying right there.
That's how that white thing is.
Yeah,
out
that's what
there?
that is.
Ball just outside the 10 for Houston. Foster gets what he can get to about the 7-yard line.
Arian Foster is one of those players that's kind of deceptive. He has better speed than you think he does, but he's very patient. That's his strength. He allows his offensive line to get into blocks. It's a mostly zone block team. And then once he sees the crease, he will stick that foot in the ground and come downhill fast. A one-cut system, he runs it very well.
Houston looking for their 12th touchdown drive of 80. Schaub to throw. Nobody open. Now he throws late to the end zone, and he's got the touchdown to Jacoby Jones. And Houston gets a stabilizing touchdown.
That's what size will do for you. Jacoby Jones is 6'2". He goes up and gets the ball, but the play action allows Schaub a little bit of time. And the line, you talked about the Eagle line doing a good job, Matt. Well, here's the Texans' offensive line. They're just stalemated right there. Plenty of time to look at what he wants to. Good double teams, no penetration. Get outside, throw it high, let your guy go make a play. Jacoby saying, listen, I'm here. Don't wait too long.
Jones' second touchdown catch of the season. Rackers with the extra point, so Houston engineers their 12th touchdown drive of 80 yards or more, and Jacoby Jones pays it off with the touchdown. So Philadelphia's lead trimmed to 7, 5:38 to go in the first half. Jacoby Jones hook up on an 8-yard touchdown pass, capping off an 8-play, 80-yard drive that featured a 42-yard pass play to Andre Johnson. Michael Vick has led 3 scoring drives for the Eagles. Elgin Buckley back deep along with George Calvin. Rackers on the kickoff. Calvin from the 7. Calvin pinball down at the 29. It's a 22-yard return. Well, Houston's starting to get a little more pressure on Michael Vick, Matt.
Well, you saw it right from the start. This was the first series. Took a shot in the chest, and then this was at the end. This was just the last series. He took that knee in the face, and then he also got a shot on the quad, on the right side of that quad. Now that sucker, those things hurt.
It's going to take 10 days for that to feel a whole lot better.
11 of 14 for 159 yards and a score. Checks it down to McCoy. Makes Glover Quinn miss and picks up 9.
You know, Joe, this LaShawn McCoy, he's not even close to where he's going to be. I remember him at the University of Pittsburgh. He was a speed guy who liked to bounce everything outside. They got him here, and they made him run inside the tackles, and he's trying to develop runner's patience. He still likes to kind of dilly-dally a little bit inside, but when he's definitive, he's really good.
Chad Hall topples for a first down for Philadelphia. Chad Hall out of the Air Force. Signed as a free agent this year. He was repairing F-16s, a second lieutenant at Hill Air Force Base in Salt Lake. We had a chance to visit with him yesterday. Had to fulfill his 2-year military commitment and was so anxious after being deactivated for a couple games.
And he wears his shoes during game day a half size smaller because he said, you have to do something different. Now, I don't think putting your feet through pain is something different, but that's what he wanted to do.
Because it keeps him tight. Again, McCoy in space. And he's pushed out of bounds at the 48-yard line by Jason Allen. Tomorrow on NFL Total Access, Chicago Bears quarterback Jay Cutler talks about their 4 wins in a row and how the Bears are getting ready to take on the Lions. Don't miss NFL Total Access tomorrow at 7 Eastern, only on NFL Network. Fantastic show, getting caught up on everything every day in the National Football League. You don't want to miss Jay Cutler tomorrow. 2nd and 2 for the Eagles. With McCoy the tailback. Vick nearly Intercepted by Glover Quinn, and a pass intended for Deshaun Jackson.
Glover Quinn last week against the Tennessee Titans had basically a career day. And I say that because he has 3 interceptions, almost gets the 4th if Michael throws this a little lower, and those are all he has. And that's a broken hand that he went up and knocked the ball away with. But of his career 3 interceptions, all of them came against Tennessee last week.
The Eagles have kept the 3rd down attempts manageable. That's why they've been successful. McCoy in space. McCoy short of the 1st down. Amobi Okoye got the first hit as Houston rallies to the ball and gets a much-needed stop.
That was big right there for this Houston Texans team. They need to get the ball back and put more points on the board. They're only going to do that if they stop it right there. Nicely done.
But I didn't really like the call by Marty Morningwig there. You're 3rd and 1. Why not pound it up inside? Your offensive line's knocking them off the ball. They're afraid of Michael Vick outside. You really played into Houston's hands that time.
Sav Rocca to punt. This will be his 50th of the season. Jacoby Jones back deep. High kick, not deep. Jones calls for a fair catch. Well, Andre Johnson, he had a big 42-yard catch coming back out on the field, and suddenly Houston within 7 with the ball. And Joe, such a pivotal game for the Houston Texans. What did you see that got them going in a rhythm?
Well, their defense actually stopped the Eagles on a drive. And really what happened, and Matt, you know Houston can put points up. They're a 60-minute football team. They're not a 30-minute ball club. Even though they get outscored a lot in the first half, they know how to come back. And when you've got Andre Johnson, Jacoby Jones, Kevin Walter, you can stretch the ball down the field.
First and 10 from the 15. And flag on the play and a false start against Houston.
False start, number 76, offense.
Dwayne
5-yard
Brown,
penalty.
the
Still
left
first
tackle,
down.
as we check in with Alex Flanagan.
Hey, Bob, well, you see Andre Johnson back in the game. He spent much of the 2nd quarter in the locker room evaluating his ankle. Remember, he injured the ankle the 2nd week of the season and has been struggling with it much of the season, but looks like it's okay and he's able to play in the rest of this game, Bob.
Well, he's as tough as they come, and all he cares about is for his team to win. As Schaub takes a hit, and a flag comes in on the pass intended to Walter.
You get the feeling that's going to be roughing the passer.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 58, defense. Contact low to the quarterback. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Trent Cole, you cannot launch yourself at the knees of the quarterback. That was the rule instituted when Tom Brady was hurt in the 2008 season as they went at Schaub's knee. If you're blocked into the quarterback's legs, that's one thing.
That's what it looked like to me. He didn't try to launch himself. He just kind of fell into it at the end.
Not saying he's a bad guy, but it's a good call by the official to remind everybody it can't happen.
You're full of baloney.
I'm a quarterback.
Foster, nowhere to go. Dimitri Patterson on the tackle. Loss of 2.
That's the way Sean McDermott's scheme is drawn up, and that's the way you're supposed to do it. You get Arian Foster and you run him sideways, and you get him running not forward but running sideways, and then you force it all the way out, and the corner has to be able to tackle in that coverage. Patterson did it very well.
And that's a little unusual when you talk about Eagle corners. They haven't necessarily been known as great run support corners.
And they ask him to, but not often. That cover 2 scheme, they have to do it.
2nd and 12. Johnson with some space, hit by Bradley at the 26-yard line, gain of 3, and that should take us down to the 2-minute warning here in Philadelphia. Eagles jumped out to a 17-3 lead. A Jacoby Jones touchdown pulled Houston to within 7. They have the football in a pivotal game on the first Thursday of December.
Halftime show. 2 8-3 teams in the AFC North and 2 9-2 teams in the AFC East will do battle this weekend. We'll preview those matchups. And despite Michael Vick's first half dominance, Bob, it looks like the Texans can tie this game if they can get this together right now.
Well, Rich, looking forward to the halftime. Yep, 2 minutes to go. Houston has all 3 timeouts, facing a 3rd and long, down by 7.
No backs in the backfield.
Schaub, first down. Dreesen to the 38-yard line, gain of 12. Houston does have all 3 timeouts. No need to rush.
Bob, you asked me before, what did Houston do? Well, their defense stopped them, but their offense made some crucial 3rd downs on that last drive. Kevin Walter made one. Joel Dreesen filling in for Owen Daniels, who they expect to have back after this 10-day break, but still doing a nice job at the tight end position.
Screen intercepted! Trevor Laws! And then he fumbled it! And the Eagles recover at the 16.
Matt Schaub is going to be sick with himself when he watches what he did. He wanted to put a little touch on the ball and pulled the string too much, Joe, and Trevor Laws was right in that lane and picked it off.
Trevor Laws starts to rush. He comes up the outside. Here he is right there. There he is right there. Now he's off balance, so what he does is he just falls back in, literally falls back into the play, and then Arian Foster does a nice job of forcing the ball out, comes around, knocks it out.
Trevor Lindley recovered it for Philadelphia to save the possession.
That's a huge play by Laws, who is an outstanding, I mean outstanding high school wrestler. He was a stud bolt on the match.
Plus he was an outstanding collegiate player from
Notre Dame.
Yeah, that play.
Yeah,
what a
right.
huge
Gotcha.
turn, because remember, Houston gets the ball to start the 3rd, and now Philadelphia has a chance to add points with 1:24 to go in the half. Looking for Macklin, Jason Allen on the coverage.
Matt, you made a terrific point earlier in this game. In the red zone, without the big body, you have speed. Why would you run speed up the field? Now, I think that was a result of the play the last time they were here when Deshaun Jackson went up and it was missed. But run them across the field. Make the Texans chase your speed instead of sitting and waiting for it to come to you.
Texans are jumping in man coverage, which is surprising me.
Vick works out of a sack and takes it to the 11-yard line. Kevin Bentley missed the sack, gain of 7.
Kevin Bentley's a linebacker. They went man-to-man coverage outside again. Bentley had him dead to rights, and Vick, his name is Vic Houdini. He got out of that one, I don't know how.
Bentley didn't think he was as strong as he is. There are certain quarterbacks in this league where if you have them like that, the referee will blow the play dead. But in a case of someone like Michael Vick that has the ability to escape, you give him an opportunity to be able to do something and make a play.
Michael Vick is limping a little bit out there. Got a little hitch in his get-along.
Yeah, you think he's limping.
Vick turned a 7-yard.
He can limp faster than most guys run.
Right.
And he turned a 7-yard loss there, guys, to a 7-yard gain.
14-yard differential.
I went to Fordham. We
That's
learned
Notre
that.
Dame right there. You could hear that.
Trevor Laws and I. Same math teacher at Notre Dame.
Exactly.
3rd and 3 at the Houston 11. Vick, Macklin gets the first down, working on Jason Allen. Gain of 4.
There's another one of those young receivers just getting better. Macklin hasn't touched where he's going to be. Bigger bodied man, has excellent speed. He's learning this offense and learning how to play receiver at this level, and he's doing very well.
Now the Eagles have dropped in the last 2 games 5 touchdown passes, and now they need to convert.
1st and goal. Vick. End zone knocked away from Avant by Glover Quinn.
What a great play by Quinn. Outstanding. Well, you'll love to see that good defense right there. Again, matching up man-to-man. And you're going to have Macklin all by yourself. And so you take something away. So he took the inside away. He got beat on the nod. But look how he came back. You know what? He didn't even touch the ball. Hit Macklin in the face.
That's number 6 dropped.
Vick got planted by Antonio Smith.
And a couple weeks ago, Avant dropped one where there wasn't anybody around him within 6 or 7 yards.
Yeah, that was in the Giants game 2 weeks ago.
Remember all the great cover play? I forget it. It wasn't.
Second and goal. McCoy looking for his third touchdown of the night. Stopped at the 3 with 27 seconds to go in the half, and Philadelphia will use their final timeout. This all set up by the Trevor Laws interception of Matt Schaub, with Houston in possession of the football, down by 7.
I can tell you exactly what's going through Matt Schaub's mind right now. Come on, guys. Hold them to 3. I'll get it back for us. Just hold them to 3. How could I have possibly done that? Is the other thing that's going there. Houston's defense, since the first 2 drives, has done a real nice job of changing up. Frank Bush has decided, okay, we're not going to let Michael Vick sit back in the pocket. We're going to go after him and force him to get the ball out of his hands. And he seems to be working.
And he's used the short field to his advantage. He's been able to go more man-to-man coverage and bring an extra defender.
Michael Vick has taken some shots here tonight. With 27 seconds to go in the half. Third and goal at the 4.
It's all by himself down here.
They bring pressure. Vick can't find Selleck as Vick took another hit.
Now this becomes a debate. Is that the 7th touchdown pass that's dropped? He gets the ball out quick. Selleck has a chance to make a play. Yeah, that's another drop by the Philadelphia Eagles that could have been another touchdown.
7 in 2.5 games. Akers try a 22-yard field goal and push the lead to 10. Lockett a hold, and Akers strokes it through. So Trevor Laws gets the interception for Philadelphia. Thrown by Schaub. The Houston defense does well enough to hold Philadelphia to 3, and it's now 20-10 Eagles. Can that be, Matt, can that be momentum for the team?
Are you talking about the for Houston?
Yeah, we're taking a look at Schaub throwing the interception to Trevor Laws.
And that was good awareness by Trevor Laws, like you had mentioned, Joe. He kind of got spun around a little bit, and then he was able to come up with a play. But Matt Schaub is going to be sick because he pulled the string just a little bit too much on that one.
Yeah, but when Bob asked you that question, and I find it interesting, I think that can be momentum for Houston. Yes, because you mentioned it, Bob. They will get the ball back at the beginning of the half. Now, if Houston was kicking off to the Eagles at the beginning of the second half, you'd say, okay, it was 3 points, but the Eagles are right back in their throat. Now it's a little bit different story. Your offense gets a chance, in particular Matt Schaub, to be able to rectify the situation, and Brent Selleck should have had another touchdown for the Eagles.
You know, keeps a 10-point swing, and any kind of lift you can get. The defense rises up and doesn't give up at least the touchdown. Akers with the kickoff. Slayton from the 7. Wrestled down at the 25-yard line by Moses Foku. Well, some missed opportunities in this football game. Jason Avant threw his hands. Glover Quinn didn't touch it, and then Brent Selleck had an opportunity on a 3rd and goal, couldn't reel it in. And a flag on the return.
Number 57, kicking team. 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. First down.
It's a simple 5. You can just tack it on if you wish.
All right, now we get to be a little bit interesting. I mean, you've got 2 timeouts. Plays take about 7 seconds to gain 15 yards.
Schaub, Dreesen runs out of a tackle, does even better. Takes it out to midfield with 8 seconds. Gain of 20, timeout Houston.
There's your 7 seconds. Now what you want to do is have an opportunity to possibly get another 15 so that you're looking at maybe a 50, 52-yarder. Plenty of time to do it.
Well, next week, Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts travel to Tennessee to take on Chris Johnson and the Titans. Next Thursday, 8 p.m. Thursday Night Football, NFL Network. Huge implications in the AFC South as you get a look at veteran Neil Rackers warming up. He did hit a 48-yard field goal in the first quarter. Joe, because they have the one timeout, they can still use the middle of the field.
Sure, and as a matter of fact, you don't have to run with it. You can give yourself up and call the timeout as a receiver.
Schaub had Dreesen fall down, and it's incomplete. And Schaub got hit and hurt. And the medical staff of the Texans quickly out to attend to Matt Schaub. I think Darryl Tapp hit him.
Doesn't look like much of a hit, but he whacked his head on the ground on the bottom of that hit.
And he grabbed it too.
There's Dan Orlovsky.
Dan Orlovsky's looking for his helmet. And now look at Jacoby Jones offered his, and so did Garrett Graham.
Looks like Garrett Graham's noggin's bigger than Orlovsky's.
And by rule,
he has to come out.
He's got to come out, but by rule, Houston is also charged a timeout. So they lose the timeout.
Which means now you have to throw it to the end zone or maybe play the other.
And there's no mic in the helmet. But I would imagine that you were told from the sidelines, look, take the snap and either give it to Arian or kneel down.
Nah, he's going to throw this right to Arian.
Arian Foster. Can he beat about 8 Eagles to the end zone? Beats about 6 of them and then gets tackled at the 20, 29-yard gain.
Helps your rushing average.
So the Houston Texans with a costly turnover late in the first half. Eagles and Texans, Eagles in front, 20-10. Stick around for the halftime show with Rich Eisen, Marshall Faulk, Deion Sanders, and Steve Mariucci. Back out on the field. Joe, let's talk a little bit about the good Michael Vick that we saw early in the ball game.
Well, all you can do is talk about the good Michael Vick because that's all he was, really. He does a real nice job early in the game, first play of the game, sets, throws, puts the ball down the middle of the football field, and he's spreading it around to different receivers. You know, people talk about Michael's height and say, well, he's too small to be able to throw the ball in the middle of the football field. That isn't the case at all. You use his legs like we saw in the last one, but he gets far enough away from the line of scrimmage to be able to throw the ball in the middle.
Then Houston was able to start getting some hits on Michael Vick to slow him down a little bit.
Well, Michael Vick is everything we thought he'd be and more. And because he's been able to be protected and because he can take his time and look down the field, his first half, I thought was as good as it can be.
All right, let's check in with Alex Flanagan down on the field. Alex?
Hey, Bob, the Houston Texans will have the ball at the start of the second half. Matt Schaub will be back in this game after he hit his head pretty hard on the turf. Doctors checked him out during the half, gave him some tests for concussions, and they've determined that he is okay. Gary Kubiak saying the key for them will be being able to hold on to the ball a little bit more on offense in this second half.
Schaub with a costly interception in the final minutes of the first half with Houston down by 7. Threw it right into the waiting arms of Trevor Laws. David Akers will get this third quarter started with the kickoff. Steve Slayton back deep for Houston. Houston 5-6, one game off the pace in the AFC South. Philadelphia comes into this weekend with the same record as New York in the NFC East, 7-4. They've beaten New York once. Slayton to the goal line, out to the 22-yard line. Jamar Chaney on the tackle. We'll take a look at the quarterback comparison in the first half. Schaub, 6 of 13, 117 yards, the costly interception. Vick came out and was sharp right out of the chute as he engineers 2 11-play drives, including an 88-yarder to start the game and a touchdown.
And remember, he had 2 touchdown passes dropped at the end of the half as well.
Arian Foster chased down on the backside by Quentin Michael and Ernie Sims. Well, one of the key moments in this first half, back in the first half, was the interception thrown by Schaub. Trevor Law's got the pick, and then he gets sacked. You see his head bang off the grass surface here at Lincoln Financial Field. But after all the tests, he's in the ball game to start the third. Boston lost 2. Schaub with time. Foster in space, flag on the play as he moves across the first down marker to the 32.
Little run action right there, and Foster jumps through the hole, does a really good job of getting through all the stuff inside to be open.
Number 23, defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Dimitri Patterson called for the penalty. Houston will take the yards to gain and the first down.
Now, if you're going to run the football, which is what they want to be able to do, the complement to that is their run action or play action game. And one feeds the other. And Foster's good at both.
From the 32, Foster picks up 3 to the 35-yard line. Mike Patterson on the tackle.
What Alex was talking about that Gary mentioned, Gary Kubiak, the head coach of the Texans, mentioned was time of possession. They have to run the ball. They have to hold it a little longer. The first half, Houston had the ball 10 minutes and 42 seconds. The Eagles, 19 minutes and 18 seconds, roughly twice as long. And you can't leave Michael Vick on the football field that long and have good things happen if you're the Texans.
2nd and 7, late pressure. Dreesen makes the catch and has a first down. A gain of 12.
And that is exactly the same play that he missed Dreesen on earlier. They can't block all the blitzers from the right side.
Yeah, but you see what happens?
Now he gets it out of his hands.
Yeah, see, they come from inside. See, so they're going to bring Stuart Bradley from the middle of the field. Dreesen just replaces him right in the middle of the field. Nice job by Schaub to be able to see the vacant area and hit it.
Drive started at the Houston 21. Foster into Eagle territory. Bradley and Bunkley on the tackle, gain of 4.
Looks like Sean McDermott's playing a little bit with fire right now. You know, Andre Johnson is sitting out there. He's a pressure guy. You know that, Matt. I mean, Sean wants to bring pressure. But if Arian Foster can break through that front line and you're going man-to-man in the secondary, there aren't a whole lot of guys back there going to be able to make plays on him.
Yeah, but right now he's been mixing it up. He's been playing zone stuff here and mixing. Here he goes again.
Schaub with time over the middle to the 30. That's Johnson, and a first down. His second catch of the ball game, gain of 19.
Well, the whole thing happens because of the time and able to throw. And again, you're going to see the route. All he's going to do is just run across and sit down in a hole in the zone. There's nothing underneath, just sits there. And because there's protection, he can find him.
Johnson catches 61 yards. From the Philadelphia 29. Foster dragged down by Bradley.
Now there's a guy. Yeah, there's a guy who has gotten better and better as the season's gone on. Remember, a year ago he lost the whole season because of a knee injury. And right here is number 55, right in the middle. And he still, just talking to him yesterday, still thinks he's not quite there yet, and you can see it on tape. He still hesitates a little bit. Next year he'll be much better, but he has come a long way from the beginning of the season.
2nd and 14. Schaub, Walter, sandwiched by Hansen after a gain of 6.
Kevin Walter for the Houston Texans is a touchdown guy. He's got 4 of them. And he also is the guy that they use really to convert third downs or get you into manageable third down situations. Wouldn't be surprised if they work back to him in this situation.
Houston hit on a 3rd and 8 in the first half. They have another here. Schaub at the feet of Ward, incomplete, but a flag at the 25-yard line.
It's going to be offsides by the defense. So they're going to have 3rd and short.
Offside, number 93, defense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Trevor Law is called for the penalty. Well, Houston, which had the ball down 7, turns it over late in the first half. They hold Philadelphia to 3. Pretty good drive going here with a 3rd and 3 at the Eagles' 22-yard line, trying to keep some momentum going in their favor.
This is where Arian Foster is so valuable to them as the 3rd down back. He's a 3-down guy.
Man.
Schaub again to the tight end. This time it's James Casey, and he has a 1st down gain of 8.
You know,
they blew a coverage, Joe.
They've been blowing coverages. You're right, Matt. But this is what we talk about Michael Vick's ability to move around and make plays. Matt Schaub doesn't get enough credit. He's been forced out of the pocket. The Eagles have been bringing pressure. This time he slides to the right, off balance, makes a terrific throw up the field, and converts the 1st down.
There's a lot of ways to manage the pocket. He's just showing you the other way.
Foster fights for whatever he can get, a yard or so. You know, well, the Philadelphia Eagles defense has allowed touchdowns on 24 of 31 red zone drives. That's a 77.4% touchdown percentage. That's the worst since the Oilers in 1988. So that has been an area in which they have struggled this year as far as red zone defense.
Dead last in the league.
Second and 9 from the 13. Schaub again inside Foster, and he's got the touchdown. He ran over Nate Allen, and Houston scores on the opening drive of the 3rd quarter.
That was big. That's big right there. You talked about the momentum swing at the end when they stopped them on the 3-pointer. They just took it and turned it into something right here.
Once again, you saw Matt Schaub's ability to buy time in the pocket, find the receiver, get the ball out of his hands, and let him go make a play.
Good protection as well.
79-yard drive, Rackers for the extra point. And Rackers right down the middle. So Matt Schaub checks down to Arian Foster, and Houston within 3 here in the 3rd.
Your favorites, your Pizza Hut.
Look at the Ben Franklin Bridge, which connects New Jersey and Philadelphia. Arian Foster caps off a 79-yard drive with a 13-yard touchdown reception, a 2nd receiving touchdown of the season. He's got 14 overall, and Michael Vick will get his first shot here in the 3rd quarter with his team leading 20-17. Jorrick Calvin to return the kickoff. He returned the opening kickoff 102 yards, but it was negated because of a penalty on Philadelphia. Start from the 10. And brought down at the 25 by Vontae Leach. We'll step aside our first look in the 2nd half of Michael Vick on Thursday Night Football. Tonight's aerial coverage is presented by Southwest Airlines. A look at Broad Street in Philadelphia and City Hall. Not far from there is Lincoln Financial Field. Thursday Night Football, and Adrian Foster with the 13-yard touchdown catch pulls Houston to within 3 with 8:44 to go in the 3rd. First offensive possession for the Eagles in the 2nd half. Vick with some room. Vick with a 1st down and gives his version of a slide. Gain of 12. Why is he going down? Well, he took some big hits in the 1st half.
Well, they started early, and anytime you have a chance to put a helmet on a running quarterback, you have to do it. You have to beat him down and slow him down.
Moby Okoye got him on the hip.
Yeah, and the one that hit him in the quad, that one kind of slowed him a tad too.
First 6 games, hit her sack 46 times. Last 3, hit her sack 35. Vick on a 1st and 10. Tight end screen to Selleck. Trying to run out of a Bentley tackle, and he carries him to the 46. Let's check in with Alex Flanagan.
Hey, Bob, well, the hit that really affected Michael Vick in the first half was the one by Amobi Okoye. Okoye driving his helmet right into his right thigh, and Philadelphia telling me that it's his right thigh that has really been bothering him in the first half. Andy Reid telling me that they have to do a better job of protecting him in the second half, Bob.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. Houston's been able to dial up some pressures. Some of the hits are just Vick trying to make plays. 2nd and 2, Pollard coming in, hit him from behind, and the pass incomplete. Jackson wants a flag, no flag.
Well, Frank Bush, the defensive coordinator for the Texans, has really dialed up a couple of nice blitzes with Pollard. Number 31, you're going to watch him right here. He's going to drop down, and then he's going to come. He's going to keep on coming. He just runs right past both running backs. That is just poorly done by the blockers and really well done by Pollard.
Well, LaShawn McCoy was willing to block him, but Owen Schmidt got in the way and just let him get around him.
One of them should block him. Vick on a 3rd and 2. Looking for Macklin, and it's intercepted by Jason Allen. Only the 2nd pick of Vick this season, 1 in each of the last 2 weeks.
And it's on Michael Vick. That ball needed to be pushed out there. The speed is in Macklin's legs. He didn't push the ball out far enough, and it's a pick the other way.
Jason Allen was let go by Miami a couple of weeks ago. They signed Al Harris, signed by Houston on November the 11th. Picks off Michael Vick. And Houston has the ball back down 3 from their own 14. Schaub, great play fake. Deep middle, intended for Johnson. Michael got there at just the right time. Incomplete.
Matt Schaub was looking for the big play. Now, this is where you get sucked in a little bit because of Andre Johnson's ability. And he told us last night, even if there's, I think he's covered, I'll throw it to him. But he's got Dreesen wide open. He's got him wide open across in front of him, and he turns to fire it up to Andre Johnson. Little contact, incidental possibly.
How about Michael might have been there early?
Should have thrown
That
flag.
too.
2nd and 10. Foster with some room. Foster gets 9 on the play.
Now that
Foster getting
that
it going.
running game with the Houston Texans and that zone scheme that they like to run, they get into, it's very much like the Washington Redskins, and it's just a little bit better because they're a little bit better.
And Houston, 15 for 15 on 3rd and 1's, best in the NFL. Foster converts it, 9 for 9. It's all been Foster and Schaub this year. It's been now 9 runs by Foster, 4 runs by Schaub, and then the others were passes from Schaub to Foster, and once again that combination has worked for Houston.
That's the way you maintain drives as an offense. Converting 3rd down and shorts, you get more shots up the field now.
They feed Foster again, dragged down at the 29-yard line by Trent Cole. Well, Arian Foster leads the league in yards from scrimmage. That's rushing and receiving. Got a touchdown catch here tonight. And really has been the guy that went about his work. He dropped weight. And we talked about, being a free agent and coming into this league with a chip on his shoulder. Give him a rest on 2nd and 6. Schaub under pressure. Couldn't find Dreesen, who had him running the seam.
They spread everybody out, and so they had 5 receivers on the field, and the middle of the field is wide open. And so Dreesen just goes, and he missed him. He just missed him.
Sean McDermott is playing with fire. He's bringing guys. He's bringing them up the middle, and they're coming free runners, but there's guys running wide open. If Schaub has the opportunity to make an accurate throw, you would possibly have gotten a completion, but he also wanted a call for a shot to the head.
That was Ernie Sims, and he did a good job of pulling off it, in my opinion.
Third and 6. Schaub, middle of the field, and he has the first down to David Anderson, fifth-year pro out of Colorado, only his 8th catch of the season, gain of 17.
That time he didn't bring a lot of pressure. Schaub had an opportunity to be able to put the ball, lead Anderson into a little bit of trouble, but he hangs on.
Schaub's starting to find his rhythm because his offensive line is finding their rhythm, both in the running game and in protection.
Drive started at the Houston 14 after the Allen interception. Schaub's going to get sacked. Mike Patterson gets his 2nd of the season and a loss of 7.
So much for protection, huh?
Well, if you're bringing more people than you can block, that's what happens. And this time it's only 4. Well, that's just a great individual effort by Mike Patterson, excuse me. Mike Patterson just beats off the block of Mike Grizzle and gets there. I mean, it's just one-on-one. They rushed 4 that time.
And that's what the Eagles have not had, is inside pressure.
They run it on a 2nd and 17, and no running lane whatsoever for Foster. Ernie Sims at the bottom of that pile.
And Ernie Sims made the tackle.
What about the call? 2nd and 17.
Foku made the play. Foku forced everything back inside.
What about a run on 2nd and 17?
They've run it on 2nd and long quite a bit. I mean, Michael Vick has the ability to make that distance and pick up with his legs. Matt Schaub's not going to do it, so they give it to Arian Foster. But Gary Kubiak and Rick Dennison, the offensive coordinator, are not afraid to be able to hand the ball to Arian on 2nd and long, obviously.
3rd and 17. Schaub for Johnson, and he's got it for the first down. He just turned Dimitri Patterson around, who wants a flag, but he ain't going to get it.
Well, he's hot. Patterson's saying that he got pushed off. Now the ball is thrown behind him, which is a well-thrown ball. But let's see Andre Johnson. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Andre Johnson.
There's a
maybe a little push in the back
bit, but
there.
not much. But that's the difference in a wide receiver expecting the ball to be thrown in a certain place and the defender not being able to locate it.
Nicely done by Johnson to track that thing.
31-yard pickup on a 3rd and 17. Derek Ward gets the carry. And Ward gets 10.
Because Jamal Brown was able to get the edge for him. He may have gotten away with a little bit of a hold, but on that left side, big Jamal Brown is able to secure the edge. Now defensively, you have to protect that edge. It was not that time. Brown wins the battle, and another first down.
I was talking with right tackle Eric Winston before the game on the field. He said, we just got to stick with our running game and stick with our running game and stay physical with it. Dwayne Brown with an excellent block from that left tackle spot. Ward remains in after a gain of 13. Ward knocked down by Mike Patterson at the 14 after a gain of 3. Derek Ward, who started this season in Tampa with the Bucks, let go. Signed on by Houston. Andre Johnson with a big 31-yard catch. Now Foster comes back in for the Texans.
The one thing you notice with the Houston Texans is they run about 80% of the time to the left because it sets up that play action for Matt Schaub to roll out to the right.
2nd and 7. Schaub gets it away to Foster. There's a flag on the play at the 8-yard line.
This is going to be off.
And it's on the Stuart Bradley of Philadelphia, the preliminary call.
Illegal contact, number 53, defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Caught on Moses Foku.
Trent Cole got some pressure up inside he beat Dwayne Brown to the inside. Watch right on the left side. Here he comes. Right to the inside. He beats Dwayne Brown. Now he's going to get the pressure inside. And then look at the middle of the field. Well, he called it on Foku, not there.
So it's 1st and goal. Houston threatening to take their first lead of the night. Foster turns it at the 5 and knocked down inside the 5-yard line. Good time-consuming drive here by Houston after the interception of Michael Vick. A drive that started at the 14.
Well, the Eagles in the red zone just do not have an answer, not only for the Houston Texans tonight, but for anybody. They're ranked last in the league in red zone defense, and that's simply because people are able to gain a lot of yards on it. If you want to be a good offense in the red zone, you have to be able to run the football.
2nd and goal from the 3. Foster, touchdown Houston, and they have the lead for the first time tonight with 50 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
And they just pounded it back inside. Start your running to the left, and then this is the patience of Arian Foster. He sees it, he lets it develop, and then comes right back down inside. When you can get some blocks on the backside of that zone scheme, he takes advantage of it.
Well, in the first half, Houston early could not stop Philadelphia's offense. It's been flipped in the second half. With 2 touchdown drives. Rackers for the extra point. And that puts Houston up by 4. Jason Allen got the pick. And then a 66-yard drive capped off by Arian Foster. Houston in front. 13 plays, 86 yards. Arian Foster with the touchdown run. He has 2 tonight. 15 for the season, which sets a Houston Texans club record. 6:23, and what a comeback, down 20-10 at the half. Jason Allen gets the big interception of Michael Vick, and then they drive it downfield. And boy, Houston looked like they were about to get blown out of this game, down 17-3. But Gary Kubiak, the head coach of Houston, told us yesterday, you know what? These guys are fighters. They don't get down. Eric Winston said before the game, you know, we got a good group of guys. Everyone likes each other here, and we hang in there when things are going rough, and they've shown that so far tonight. Rackers, a short kick taken by one of the upmen to the 40-yard line. Clay Harbor, good field position for Andy Reid and the Eagles. They'll start at their own 40. Arian Foster's given Houston the lead. The Philadelphia Eagles and New York Giants tied for the top spot in the NFC East. The Eagles beat the Giants 2 weeks ago here at Lincoln Financial Field. The Giants play the Washington Redskins in New Jersey on Sunday. Big game for Philadelphia. And you look at the AFC South, Jacksonville and Indianapolis at 6-5. Houston just a game off the pace in a division that's normally locked up by Philadelphia by Indianapolis at this point. LaShawn McCoy on the carry, picks up 5 on first down. Antonio Smith on the tackle. So what does Philadelphia now, guys, have to do to kind of get some rhythm back?
They have to do what the Houston Texans did. They have to commit more to the run. Andy Reid just can't come out and throw the ball around. Marty Morningwig, the offensive coordinator, has to be able to come out and run the football a little bit and settle down this offense.
Vick, little boot, Selleck, the first down in the Houston territory at the 46-yard line, gain of 9, and that'll be the final play of quarter number 3. Well, the Philadelphia Eagles led it by 10 at the half, but Houston, with 2 third-quarter touchdowns, has the lead heading to the critical 4th. Back in Philadelphia, we get set for the start of the 4th quarter with the Houston Texans in front of the Philadelphia Eagles in the 3rd quarter. Houston with 2 long scoring drives, 24 plays, 155 yards, and they used most of the quarter, and they scored touchdowns. And that's why they lead it by 4. Philadelphia starts the 4th in Houston territory at the 46. Vick, design run, picks up a couple with Glover Quinn closing in.
Along with that graphic, Bob, in the first half, Houston had the ball a little over 10 minutes. So in one quarter, their possession was 2 minutes longer than they had it earlier. And the Eagles need to do this, whether it's Michael Vick running or LaShawn McCoy running. You can't just start throwing it around. I mean, you have to be able to be a little more balanced if you're the Eagles.
Jerome Harrison, the tailback. Vick to throw. Vick with a fastball. Got his man at the 10. Deshaun Jackson.
Exactly what I was saying.
That looked like a run.
If you have the it is. It was Michael running back 7 yards and firing the ball. What an arm.
Well, this is a fastball, and it's to the fastest guy on the field. And he just runs through that zone, runs right past him, gets on top of the coverage, and Vick puts the ball right where it has to.
Frank Bush, the defensive coordinator of the Texans, other than the first 2 drives, has been bringing pressure. That time, you don't bring pressure on Michael Vick and you give him a chance to use that laser arm of his, that's the result.
Gain of 33 on the last play. 1st and 10 just inside the 11. McCoy on the screen. McCoy down near the 1.
Well, we said it in the first quarter. This is the best screen team, I believe, in the National Football League. And it involves timing. And then once your guys get out, once those guys get inside out, the linemen, you've got to get a hat on somebody. And Harriman's 79 just did it as well as it could be done.
Sean Jackson got shaken up on that 33-yarder. They're going to ask for a measurement on the screen play to McCoy as Jackson's tended to by the Eagles medical staff. Our camera's right there with you. What a great look. Just short. It'll be inches inside the 1 for a first down. Oh, we talked about Philadelphia being able to gash you in big chunks. 33-yard pass to Deshaun Jackson. Gets the ball to the 11.
79 is eligible.
They moved Todd Hermans to a tackle eligible.
And they bring in an extra offensive lineman, so now they have 6 lined up.
Brought in Nick Cole, number 59. Put him at the left guard spot to make Hermans the tackle eligible. 2nd and inches, just inside the 1. Vick's going to keep it. Moves the pile, and it's a touchdown. And Philadelphia's back on top just like that. Sixth rushing touchdown for Michael Vick, and they just went mano a mano with power.
You better hold on to that TV clicker because this one is far from over. Houston has found, they've straightened themselves out. They have found their power game and their throwing. The Eagles have as well. This one's going to come down to the last possession.
Don't forget the kick by Rackers that went to Clay Harbor. Philadelphia started at their own 40-yard line. Akers' extra point is good. Deshaun Jackson had a 33-yard catch that had set up Michael Vick's 1-yard run. Philadelphia back on top. Back in Philadelphia, Michael Vick, 238 yards passing and a touchdown. The rushing touchdown caps off a 6-play, 60-yard drive, 2:46 off the clock. And the Eagles are back in front, 27-24 with 13:04 to go in the ball game.
We saw him speaking with his offensive coordinator, Marty Morningweg, and that's the one guy that he has lots of confidence in, both he and head coach Andy Reid.
Slayton on the return from the 13. Slayton can't find a lane. He's knocked down at the 23-yard line by Colt Anderson.
Now, we talked about the patience of Arian Foster, and this is an example of it. They want to start and get everything going to the left, and then it's the patience to be able to cut back. He uses his eyes and finds that lane, and he's in for 6. And he's been doing that with great success here in the second half.
Foster, 22 carries for 83 yards, a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. From the 22. Schaub, Walter, short gain of about 3 on the play. Trevor Laws, who had the interception earlier, nearly got a hand on that one.
You know, there's something to be said for awareness of a defensive lineman, and sometimes it's not always about, you know, getting the big pass rush or getting a great push. Sometimes it's getting in the throwing lane, and if you have the field, you come down with a pick, that changes the game.
2nd and 7. Andre Johnson has a first down, working on Patterson, gain of 8.
You think about this Houston Texan football team and the offense in particular. Redskins, they come back and win the ball game. And you look at the game against San Diego, they're driving, and Andre Johnson has a ball bounce off his knee. They have a chance to win that one. The Jets, they let get away. I mean, 2 wins this season after trailing by 14 points. They are never, ever out of it. This is on its way to maybe another one.
Trailed by 10 at the half. Johnson, 4 catches for 100 yards. Schaub takes the snap. False start against Houston.
False start, number 76, offense. 5-yard penalty, is still first down.
Left tackle Dwayne Brown called for the penalty.
And when you get lined up against Trent Cole, number 58, who has an incredible quick step, and he says he's not fast. He just has a really quick first step off and tries to get penetration, and once he gets to the corner, he turns and comes hard.
First and 15. Schaub being chased, and he throws it away. Darryl Tapp got pressure on Schaub.
And good awareness by Schaub. He knows he's outside the pocket. All he has to do is throw the ball at or beyond the line of scrimmage, and you avoid the sack and you avoid the penalty.
Interception too, like we saw Mark Sanchez possibly do in the Jet game.
Well, Schaub got things going in the second half. Remember, he had that late pick in the first half that set up a field goal for Philadelphia.
Here's that same spread, 5 receivers. Last time the Eagles voided the middle and they were able to take advantage of it with the tight end.
Eagles jump. Schaub with a free play. Johnson with the catch. Sims on the tackle. We'll check the flag. Should be neutral zone infraction against Philadelphia.
Offside, number 97, defense. 5-yard penalty, is still second down.
Roderick Bunkley with the penalty with NFL Game Rewind. Relive every game of the 2010 season through Week 12 online and in HD. Sign up today for mid-season special offers at NFL.com/Game Rewind or search Game Rewind on NFL.com.
Every one of the Eagles' offside penalties or neutral zone infractions tonight have resulted in a first down in the drive for the Texans.
2nd and 10. Schaub wants a flag. No flag called. The Houston bench livid as the pass went to Dreesen for 3.
And they should be. There was absolute contact before he ever got near the football. I mean, there's no question there's contact.
That's Ernie Sims.
And why that's crucial is that penalty results in an automatic first down if it was called. Instead, it's 3rd and 7.
Now, on the first time they went 3rd down, on that last 2 plays ago with the penalty, they went man-to-man. This last one, they went to a zone, and it looks like they're going to be sitting in a zone here again.
Schaub with time. Schaub can run it, and he skips it to Walter, incomplete.
He could have run for that thing, and I think he knew it, and he pulled the string on it, Joe, and bounced it in.
This is where you get caught in the middle. He steps up, has a chance to go make a play, and decides at the last minute he wants to throw it, and nice job by Kevin Walter on the short hop. But it didn't matter. It doesn't count.
Fire bounce.
It doesn't count.
The dangerous Deshaun Jackson back deep, awaiting Matt Turk's punt. Only a second punt of the game. High punt, fair catch called for at the 28-yard line. Oh, Michael Vick and the Eagles offense comes back out on the field in front here in the fourth. Game in the second half. Philadelphia led it by 10 at the half. 1st and 10 for the 28. McCoy grabbed by Cushing at the 31, gain of 3. Well, Andy Reid in his 12th season as head coach, 115 regular season wins. You look at the career records in the month of December, and Andy Reid is right up there with some of the greats of all time. Hall of Famers, Vince Lombardi, John Madden, Bill Walsh. Andy Reid's done a lot of winning. That's why he has 5 NFC East titles on his resume. 5 trips to the championship game, 1 trip to a Super Bowl. Another screen, McCoy's got room. Into Houston territory. To the 30 and finally cut down by Allen. It's a gain of 39.
Matt, you've referenced it all night. The ability of the Philadelphia Eagles to be able to set up screens. That time, the Houston Texans accommodated them by bringing the blitz. And, you know, Houston Justice gets out front or protects his backside. And then Shady McCoy just cuts up the field, and look out, here I go.
That's a nice move right there, isn't it? Man, I mentioned earlier about him being a great cutback runner. He does that behind the line of scrimmage and out in the open field. He's got good vision, and he can do it.
King Dunlap is in at the right tackle. Justice limped off. Harrison to the outside, inside the 20, and knocked out of bounds at the 15-yard line. The former Cleveland Brown, acquired in a trade, picks up 14.
That's the second time this evening that we've seen the running back take advantage of that short-sided end. The end comes down hard, and he just bounces it real quick, uses his vision, and gets the edge.
But Bernard Pollard got himself trapped inside. Again, they're not doing a very good job of setting the defensive edge with the support from the secondary.
Right, there's at one point you have to stay deep as the deepest, and that you have to maintain leverage on that backside, and they weren't able to do it.
And the Eagles threatening again. Harrison inside the 10 to the 9-yard line.
And now we go back to what the offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles was doing earlier in the game. They've kind of taken over again. And now they're getting after this inside. This is a trap on the inside. Max Jean Gillis did a nice job of just getting a nice big fat body on him. And then he's up inside. Now that is one of the really good offensive line coaches in the National Football League. Juan Castillo does an excellent job with this group.
Think of all the changes they've had over the years of personnel, but they keep winning as Vic takes the snap. And they get a flag on the play on their 6th trip in the red zone.
You know, we've been talking.
False start, number 87, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
We've been talking about that offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles. There's one guy, Jason Peters, who they acquired in a trade from Buffalo, number 71. He's a big man, but they have changed him technique-wise. And Juan Castillo was telling me back in training camp that the guy they like to use was Jim Lachey, the old Washington Redskin. And he likes to keep him square. And since he's grasped the technique, he's gotten better and better each week.
2nd and 9 for Vick. Avoids a hit. Vick run out a couple yards short of the first down. Vick wants a flag. There is a flag at the 20-yard line.
Holding, number 65, offense, 10-yard penalty, second down.
It's not the flag Michael Vick wanted. It's called on King Dunlap, who's in for Winston Justice, who hobbled off.
You can see him up top there. Number 65 is the King. And it looked like it was after the fact. Kind of not so much a much a hold, more like a headlock.
Yeah, well,
how about the face mask?
Whatever it is, Mario Williams has been non-existent for the Texans on defense. I mean, he's put pressure on and forced Michael Vick to run around, but not really had the impact you expect from him.
2nd and 19 from the 24. Vick, middle of the field, nearly intercepted, intended for Selleck. And Pollard shaken up. He's had a big ball game for Houston, as the medical staff will come out and attend to Bernard Pollard. Vick was trying to find Selleck. Pollard was looking for the pick. Pollard got the worst of it. And 19. Houston trying to keep this to a one-possession ball game. Bernard Pollard walked off under his own power after the collision with Selleck.
Sometimes when you get down in the red zone like this with an arm like Michael Vick, you tend to think you can squeeze the ball into places where you really shouldn't throw it. And he's done it twice to try and get it to Selleck tonight, and it hasn't worked.
Vick in the shotgun. Vick with time. Vick for Selleck, and he reaches, and does he have the first down? It's going to be close. They mark it short. Selleck wants Andy Reid to challenge, because if you roll on a defender, you're not down. Does he reach out and make the yard to gain? Bentley's on him.
Keenan Clayton is the one that tries to make the tackle.
He's still up. That should be a first down.
Yep.
And Andy Reid's going to challenge it. If you're on your way down and you roll on a defender, you are not down until any body part actually touches the ground.
Remember, his keister hits the ground just as he's stretching, so they'd have to determine where the ball was when his rear end hit.
This could be a good spot by the official, because watch the left cheek. The left cheek hits the ground.
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, but where's the ball when the left cheek hits the ground?
Right there.
And it's hard.
Wow.
From that angle, it's hard to tell.
You might that call out a one-cheek sneak right there.
Now remember, that camera angle we're showing you is not exactly on that line either. It's a little bit behind it. And now Andy's going to throw the challenge flag. Bentley could not get Selleck on the ground, about 3 yards short. Andy Reid's going to challenge the spot when we return, which would give him a first down.
You know, you don't know. You don't know, but I will say this. This is awesome awareness by Brent Selleck. Now, see, it looks to me right there like he has it.
Remember, it's ruled short, though, and that's the important thing you have to understand when they go to replay is what is the call on the field, and there has to be indisputable evidence
to overturn it.
And
well, from this angle right here, as he's down,
it's touching.
See, but I'm not sure. I mean, there isn't an angle where we're right down the line.
Walt, tell us.
After he's doing the play, the runner was on a player, and when he was down by contact, the football was at the 5-yard line, which is enough for a first down. Philadelphia will not be charged with a timeout.
Brent Selleck was the first person to know that he had it. Remember, he came up after the catch, and he gave the throw the flag sign. Great awareness.
Andy Reid now 2 for 5 on challenges this year. And what a drive put together here by Philadelphia. This drive started at their own 28-yard line, the 39-yard screen to LaShawn McCoy, the big play.
And what a third down conversion that was. Third down and 19.
That's a monster right there.
LaShawn McCoy hit at the 5 and drop. Pollard back in the game, helped make the tackle with Eugene Wilson.
Pollard has had himself a heck of a football game here tonight, hasn't he? They've dropped him down the line of scrimmage, and he's not disappointed at all. They brought him on blitzes. He's been involved in the run game. The only thing is, he dropped a potential pick that could have taken this potential score out of the mix.
Had an opportunity near the goal line to pick off a pass, did not convert. Vick. Owen Smith, touchdown. And with 4:18 to go, it's a 2-possession game.
All made possible by the awareness of Brent Selleck. And great effort to be able to get that first down on 3rd and 19.
Akers to make it 10-point game again. And he does with 4:18 to go. Michael Vick, 2 clutch scoring touchdown drives have the Eagles in front by 10. Michael Vick executes another scoring drive. Matt, great play here.
Well, I want you to watch Brent Selleck. Now he knows he's in man-to-man coverage. And so here's the coverage right there. 31, Pollard has him. And now he's going to take the coverage and make sure he stays on it. But the other guy who has to be screened is 56, Brian Cushing. So he takes his coverage, keeps it on him, and then screens Cushing, which allows Schmidt to get inside. That is a great play and a phenomenal series by Brent Selleck.
That's the way you make up for a drop at the end of the first half.
Akers with the kickoff to Slayton. Bobbles it at the 6.
Take him down.
Slayton out to the 25. And that's it. Well, obviously, the Houston Texans 1 game off the pace in the AFC South at 5-6. Huge weekend coming up in the AFC. When you take a look at some of the key matchups, Jacksonville plays at Tennessee this weekend. Jacksonville at 6-5, currently in the lead. Of course, the big Monday night game with the Jets and the Patriots. And Sunday, Baltimore and Pittsburgh renew their friendships.
And you have to assume if you're going to make it to the playoffs in this division, you're going to have to win it, because you won't be a wild card coming out of this one.
Keep your eye on San Diego. Here they come again.
Schaub down 10. Dreesen with the catch out to the 40-yard line. Sims and Patterson on the tackle. So Houston down 10 will go hurry up. Just under 4 minutes to go.
Good urgency.
Houston scored 14 in the 3rd quarter to take the lead. Philadelphia with 2 touchdowns here in the 4th. Pressure on Schaub, throws it out in space and incomplete. Ernie Sims with the pressure. And there's a flag on the play on the far
There's no
side.
foul for intentional grounding. The quarterback was out of the pocket. Ball got past the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, this could be defensive holding.
Number 23, offense. 10-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Darian Foster, and we spoke with him last night when he's talking about his blocking, and he said, what kind of block? He said, well, I'm willing to block, which is half the battle. You're going to watch him up top, number 23, right next to Schaub. Going to come off the edge.
Well, you have to move your feet. You just can't lean and lurch if you're a running back, which is something he'll work on next year.
Better start working on it right now.
1st and 20. Schaub can't find the tight end, James Casey. Feels like he was grabbed by Sims.
Ernie Sims has had a pretty good night here tonight in coverage.
And Andre Johnson has basically gone dormant in the second half. The Eagles, whatever adjustment Sean McDermott made at the halftime to take Andre Johnson out of this offense is working to a T. He's not had an opportunity downfield, caught one on the sidelines for a little 6-7 yard gain, and that's about it.
You know, the big adjustment here for the second half really has been just more mixture of zones in.
Well,
That's been about it.
And he did have a 31-yarder on the 3rd and 17.
Well, he made a good play on the sidelines on the ball, but they got to get it to him easier than that.
Nearly intercepted on the pass intended for Casey by Quentin Michael, the strong safety.
Remember, at the start of this thing, Gary Kubiak, the head coach, told us this is a different looking defense without Asante Samuel. And they were going to have to see exactly how they were going to play him, because absent Samuel, this is a different defense that they're going to call.
Now what happens here is you have to think without Asante Samuel, you're playing really well. But if you're the Houston Texans, do you use 4 downs here? You want to pick up about half this yardage,
down 10.
so you pick up half of it.
There's a flag. There's a flag. That's going to be.
Arian Foster tripped up at the 37 by Trevard Lindley. Will check the flag. Gain of 6. Andy doesn't like the fact it's on his team.
Offsides, number 58, defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. It's still third down.
I mean, just with the naked eye, at first glance, it looked like the offensive tackle moved first.
Eric Winston.
No, I guess not. Good call by the officials.
11th penalty on the Eagles.
That was the dressed eye.
Yeah.
The naked one thought he moved, but the dressed one said no.
Exactly
not
right.
quite.
2 downs to make 15 yards, down 10 with 3:30 to go. Schaub underneath. Walter gets out of bounds, short of the sticks at the 45. And with 3:24 to go and down 10, they've got to go for it.
Yeah, he's got to go for it right here.
No question.
So on that
Now I'll be anxious.
menu play sheet, what does Gary Kubiak have?
Well, I'm anxious more on the other side. I'm anxious to see what Sean McDermott is going to do. Is he going to try to bring pressure to force a quick throw? Is he going to sit tight, play a tight zone? What's he going to do?
If I'm Sean McDermott, I'm bringing pressure right up the middle. I'm not going to give him a chance to get a hot out in the middle of the football field.
This is the first charge timeout. Houston, 30-second timeout.
Houston uses one of their precious 3 timeouts with 3:24 to go.
It's never met a nook, corner.
Back in Philadelphia, 3:24 to go. Philadelphia by 10. As Houston calls a timeout, Matt, down by 10, that's using one of a precious 3.
Yeah, but you have your 2-minute timeout.
And he has to get, this is it. He's got to get this first down. Previously, before they went to their timeout, they came out and they stacked their receivers, which is really good, because what that does is it forces you defensively to have to back off. Oh, now they're not doing it. Now they spread the field, and they took the second back and put him in the slot.
4th and 5. Schaub takes a low snap, late pressure. Schaub, Walter can't catch it. Incomplete. And Houston turns it over on downs.
Joe, they did exactly what you thought they brought pressure. And it's Quentin Michael off the left side. And he tried to throw the back shoulder throw, and Walter couldn't quite get to it.
Well, you're asking him to do something that's not very easy. I mean, the ball is behind him. He's not going to get a chance. He doesn't get a chance to really get around to make a play on it. But still, you want to try and pick up the first down in that situation. Now, Matt can be as upset as he wants, but the likelihood of getting that call is not very great. The percentage that time went in Sean McDermott's favor by putting pressure on, get the ball out of his hands, and make him make a great throw.
And Schaub still livid about a non-call as the handoff goes to McCoy, and he's tackled by Amobi Okoye. Why was Schaub so upset? That's a blow to the helmet.
See, this is what I don't understand. Is
Hansen.
Everybody, the league is so focused on protecting people, but yet I see quarterbacks get slammed into the ground. You see quarterbacks get hit in the head, and you don't get any penalties. It's the inconsistency that I don't quite understand when it comes to the officiating part. You're the referee. You look at the quarterback. That's your job.
That's your job.
You should be able to see him get planted into the ground. You should be able to see him get hit in the head. And this is about as obvious as it gets.
I'm not so sure about that. Joselio Hansen, you know what, Joe? I think you're looking at it through a quarterback's lens.
I think I'm looking at it from the other angle when he got hit in the head. You mean the naked? You mean the naked eye?
You keep bringing those things up, and I'm going to have a hit at a quarterback in a second.
McCoy to the 47-yard line of Houston. Houston calls a timeout with 3:09 to go. The battle of the AFC South heats up next week. Thursday Night Football, Peyton Manning, Colts, Chris Johnson, Titans. Your weekend starts here. Thursday Night Football next Thursday, 8 Eastern, live on NFL Network. Colts on Sunday will host the Dallas Cowboys. Tennessee at home against Jacksonville.
Gary Kubiak not very pleased with the outcome of that last call, but hey, right now, Kerry Collins comes back for the Titans, so they'll hopefully get their short straightened out there. And don't forget, yes, Peyton Manning and those Colts, they don't have all the weapons, but they still have him. And as long as you have Peyton Manning, you got a chance.
Absolutely. And you come off the performance that he had last week, you know that he's put, if it's ever possible, extra time in because he put so much in preparation. And they realize they're in a dogfight. They're not running away with this division like they have for the last, it seems like, 10 years.
If we're betting men, I move my chips onto Peyton's side.
Vic's going to throw it. Flag on the play and the pass incomplete. With Houston out of timeouts.
That stops the clock.
Why did they throw it? We'll check the flag. But Houston's out of timeouts. All you have to do is run it and then use the entire play clock before you punt it away. That stops the clock.
Houston's bringing out their punt return team, but a decision hasn't quite been made yet.
Well, you decline this and take it to 4th down. Clock's not moving. You're going to get it back.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Pass interference, number 18 of the offense. That penalty is declined. Holding, number 79 offense. That penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
Yeah, so you decline them both. The clock is stopped. You're going to get the ball back at 3-minute mark, and you have a chance at a return.
But why do you throw it?
I don't know.
I mean, I just, that one baffles me. It makes no sense to throw the football in that situation. None.
Sav Rocket a punt. Houston gets some pressure. Jones a fair catch at the 11 with 2:57 to go. 35-yard punt. Houston out of timeouts, only the 2-minute warning.
So you have to go. Yeah, so now you're going to go, obviously you'll go hurry up. You're going to have to defend the sideline and use the sideline. The Philadelphia Eagles will play a little soft because it's a 2-score game. The clock is what they have to eat up if you're Philadelphia.
If you're Houston, you're not afraid to throw it into the middle of the football field if you can get big chunks, because you're going to have to kick a field goal down the road anyway.
Especially early, like right now.
Shot. Andre Johnson to midfield. Patterson on the tackle. It's a gain of 40. Johnson with 140 yards receiving on 5 receptions. Schaub in a 1st and 10, late pressure, sack, lost it, and the Eagles have it. Nate Allen brought the pressure and forced the fumble. Darryl Tapp recovered it.
And he came from a long way. And Schaub, that's on him. He has to see that and track it. You're going to watch him coming off the left side. You see him, he just keeps on coming. Schaub doesn't see him, doesn't feel him, and now feels his sting.
You have to like what Sean McDermott has done. He's decided that he's not going to let Matt Schaub sit back there and pick him apart, especially after the big completion to Andre Johnson. He's brought an awful lot of pressure all night long, and it's paid off for him.
Boy, Nate Allen, again, we seem to be talking about presence, had the presence to come around and get the sack fumble. That's well coached, comes around and gets the hand and slaps through the ball.
Philadelphia takes over at the Houston 49. Vic got his legs tangled with one of the offensive linemen. Houston cannot stop the clock. What we've seen here in the last 5 or 6 minutes, guys, is why Philadelphia is on their way to their 8th win and why Houston's on their way to their 7th loss. Philadelphia's made the big plays when necessary, and Houston's made big mistakes at the worst possible time. Michael Vick talking with Andy Reid as we roll to the 2-minute warning. Philadelphia scoring 14 unanswered points in the 4th quarter. They have a 10-point lead with 2 minutes to go.
Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry, with 5 times the selection of ordinary jewelry stores.
The Philadelphia Museum of Art, as we welcome you back to Philadelphia, where the Eagles in front by 10, 14 unanswered points. Matt Schaub on the last possession fumbles the ball away. 2nd and 13. The Sean McCoy. Let's send it down to Rich Eisen for what's up on the postgame show.
That's right, Bob. I'm standing down here to let you know that Michael Vick is going to join us on the Kay Jewelers postgame show set. We'll give you everything you need to know, not only about this game, we'll update the playoff pictures and get you set for the rest of Week 13. I'm so close to camera. All right, I am going to walk and talk right at the end. Back to you, Bob.
There you go, Rich. Well, you walked and Michael Vick ran. Third 300-yard passing game this season, fifth of his career. 302 yards passing tonight on 22 of 33, 2 touchdowns, the 1 pick. And he's also run for a touchdown at 48 yards. Sean McCoy, tackled by Mario Williams, who's been quiet tonight. Philadelphia did a really good job on Mario Williams.
They even tried to put him over King Dunlop, and King Dunlop did a good job on him. And that guy right there, that's a pretty good player right there. He's going to have to live for another day.
He's going to have to work on his blocking. He's going to have to be more than willing when it comes to blocking if he's going to be a 3-down back, which he is.
He'll get there.
Obviously, the big play in this game, the 3rd and 19 conversion. If Houston can get Selleck on the ground at some point, would have kept it a 1-possession game. It would have kept it a 6-point game, and maybe they would have had a chance. But Selleck makes a great play. Owen Schmidt with the touchdown catch, game out of reach. And now Philadelphia will call a timeout with 32 seconds remaining.
This is the time when great football is supposed to be played. If you're a legit contender, now's the time to show it. Usually happens after Thanksgiving on all levels. But here is that 3rd and 19 play. And again, this was the one with Selleck had the awareness to be able to stretch number 1 and then 2, make the call, and then he goes in for the next down and gets the pick on Brian Cushing and allows Owen Schmidt to get in for 6.
If you're the Houston Texans, though, you're not out of this in this division.
Not at all.
I mean, yeah, you fall 2 games back, but there's got to be a lot played over the weekend. You don't know what it's going to shake out and look like. Some tough games for everybody. And the question is can you right the ship over the next month?
Well, if Tennessee can win at home against Jacksonville, you know, you don't lose ground to the team that's in first place. Rocca with the punt. Jones from the 14. Tackled at the 11 by Colt Anderson. You take a look at that AFC situation and the standings right now in the division. Jacksonville squaring off against Tennessee this weekend in Tennessee. Indianapolis at home Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys. So Houston at 5-7 with some division games left. You know, still 2 division games. Not out of it yet. Philadelphia, on the other hand, gets win number 8. Puts pressure on the Giants on Sunday to have to beat Washington as keep pace. And Philadelphia has a trip to Dallas in 10 days against the Cowboys. Andre Johnson near the first down marker. Trevard Lindley on the tackle. So after a loss last week in Chicago, Michael Vick and the Eagles bounce right back. Schaub, Jacoby Jones. Jones will get tackled on the final play of the ball game. So Michael Vick throws for 302 yards and 2 touchdowns. He runs for 1 as well as the Philadelphia Eagles come from behind in the 4th quarter and knock off the Houston Texans. For those of you watching on the NFL Network, we'll take you down to the field for the Kay Jewelers post-game show. They'll have Michael Vick on the set, plus a whole lot more highlights and analysis from tonight's game. For Joe Theismann, Matt Millen, Bob Papa saying so long from the booth. Our final score, the Philadelphia Eagles get win number 8. They beat the Houston Texans 34-24.